Nautiam in istracha, o helix and quinus natacha litiakaya, sahuelta not sinasnat chachlumison. Hello everyone, thank you for inviting me here today to share a few poems with you. I'd like to begin by thanking the Washington State Arts Commission and Humanities Washington for their support of the Washington State Poet Laureate program. This next poem I wrote, it was featured, well, it wasn't featured, but it was included in an anthology. Let's see. This anthology, For Love of Orcas, which was edited by Andrew Shattuck McBride and Jill McCabe Johnson. And then what's really exciting is that the proceeds from sales of this anthology benefits the CDOC Society in support of their efforts to restore the southern resident orca population. So I think that's super cool. And also it was awarded with the 2020 Nautilus Award, and the Nautilus Award is given for books that have a social or environmental justice focus. And this poem was included in there, and it's called Words of Encouragement, with an epigraph by W.S. Merwin from his poem On a Coming Extinction. One must always pretend something among the dying. W.S. Merwin. When writing poems about extinction, it's important that you make the poems deep but uplifting. Nobody wants to read a bummer poem about endangered orcas and their dead babies. Keep it light, keep it motivational, encouraging. It's important to accommodate your gentle reader. Don't say anything about how, if you won't swim in it, why should they have to live in it? Don't say that. Honesty is offensive in this day and age. It's always been offensive. How else do you suppose we got here? Maybe instead of saying something like, the orcas and salmon are going extinct because of ordinary greed and apathy, instead say something like, the noble creature with his power and grace shall journey away forever through the portals of time. Good taste omits mention of baby orcas abducted to be theme park clowns, decades in chlorinated cages taking their eyes, how during the capture so many died. Don't forget to forget what you know about human cruelty, how the baby orcas that didn't survive had their bellies slit and filled with stones and then were sewn closed and dumped into the sea to sink into a darkness, into a silence so dark and so deep public outrage couldn't reach, a depth unfathomable as a mother's grief, too heavy to carry for one day, much less 17. Among the dying shall we pretend that in the end we too shall not be listed among the dead? Yes, let's pretend when writing poems about extinction. So that's a hard one, and in order to not make this too dark, and also to remember what we're here for, to celebrate Orca Month, I'll close with this poem that I feel is very hopeful. It's called Remembering Sila at Schwalisen. Now, Sila is our Clacktamish word for grandmother, and Schwalisen is a place name, and it talks about how at low tide there's a bridge that you can cross to an island on, and yeah, so I'll just go ahead and read it. It's Remembering Sila at Schwalisen. We used to say, when the tide is out, the table is set. The earth provided, and if one day it didn't, the spirit fed us. The glittering turn of the tide, the arc of the sun in the sky, the call of birds, the sound of waves. To be nourished in this way makes glass doors opening and closing themselves between me and that food on grocery store shelves seem false, empty. That food, where does it come from? Whose hands grew it? Was there patience and care? Were there prayers? Think of how it got there, what it's made of. When I was a girl, everything we ate came from the earth that loved us through hands of people we loved. Now, the reason that I feel that that's hopeful is because it wasn't that long ago. It was 2 generations ago, when my grandmother was a girl, and this region, this bioregion, still was healthy enough to sustain the people. And I think that nature is so resilient and so wise. I think that if we stop impacting it and are conscientious of how we're living and try to live in a way that is less impactful, that it will heal itself, that things can come back, that the salmon can return and the orcas can return. I don't think it's too late yet. So that gives me hope. And I'd just like to say happy Orca Month, and I wish you all the best. Hai Kucha.